Welcome to my 10 Days Antalya Itinerary, your complete travel guide with everything you need to know before visiting this stunning part of Turkey. From ancient cities and turquoise beaches to mountain adventures and hidden gems, I've packed this video with detailed routes, prices, and tips. Don't forget to like, comment, and share the video, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Three of us, myself, my brother Alta Galip, a photographer, and our drone pilot Ali Yilmaz, boarded a flight from Ercan Airport in North Cyprus and landed at Antalya Airport, ready for a 10-day adventure. We rented a car from Sixt Rent-A-Car for €350 total, giving us full freedom to explore Antalya and its stunning surroundings. Our first destination was Alanya, about 135 kilometers from the airport, which took us roughly 2 hours to reach by car. We checked into our accommodation in Alanya, which cost €80 for 2 nights, offering a perfect base to start our journey. With the Mediterranean coastline on one side and ancient history on the other, our road trip was officially underway. This was just the beginning of our immersive 10-day itinerary across beaches, mountains, ancient cities, and island escapes. On our first morning, we drove from Alanya to Gazipaşa, a scenic 45-kilometer journey that took about 50 minutes. Our first destination was the ancient city of Antioquia ad Kragum, dramatically perched above the Mediterranean coast. We then hiked down to Belek Deniz, a stunning natural sea arch, and took a swim in the nearby hidden gem, Kral Koyu, or King's Bay. After that, we stopped at Koru Beach, known for its unique volcanic rock pools and clear waters. Just a few minutes away, we relaxed at Salinas Beach, a quiet and uncrowded stretch of sand. Next, we headed 30 kilometers inland to Sarpadere Canyon, a lush escape with wooden paths and waterfalls, and best of all, free entry. By midday, we were enjoying lunch by the dim river, with cool waters beneath our feet and a full meal for just €15. We followed it up with a visit to Dim Cave, one of the largest caves in the region, with an entrance fee of only €3. Back in Alanya, we climbed to the top of Alanya Castle, normally €15 to enter, but free with the museum pass Turkey. Just below, we explored Damlataş Cave, where the entrance fee was around €4.50. To end the day, we took a peaceful walk along Cleopatra Beach, famous for its golden sands and clear waters. We returned to our hotel in Alanya for the night, wrapping up a day full of history, nature, and the sea. Day 2 began with a 40-kilometer drive from Alanya to Oymapınar Dam, taking just under an hour through winding mountain roads. From Antalya and nearby neighborhoods, there is an option to join a 7 to 8 hour boat tour, priced between €25 to €35 per person, including a relaxing lunch on the water. Next, we continued to Manavgat Waterfall, one of the most photographed in the region. Entrance was just around €1.50. A quick stop in Manavgat city gave us time to explore local shops and enjoy Turkish tea by the riverside. From there, we drove 15 kilometers to the charming Side town center. We strolled freely through the open-air museum of Side ancient city, where crumbling Roman columns meet the sea, no entry fee required. Afterward, we headed north to Köprülü Canyon National Park, about a 1-hour drive through pine forests, with no entrance fee. We hiked out to Tazi Canyon, where the dramatic cliffs and deep valleys offered a truly breathtaking panorama, and it was completely free. Later in the afternoon, we visited Aspendos Theatre, one of the best-preserved Roman amphitheaters in the world, normally €19, but included with our museum pass Turkey. With the sun beginning to set, we made our way 30 kilometers to Belek, arriving in about 35 minutes. We checked into a cozy hotel for €80 per night, surrounded by pine trees and luxury golf resorts. It was the perfect base for unwinding after a day filled with history, nature, and ancient marvels. On our third day, we started with the Tunektepe cable car, just outside Antalya. A round-trip ride with a combined waterfall package cost us €40 per person. After enjoying the panoramic views, we made a brief stop at Belek town center, about 30 kilometers away, for coffee and local pastries. From there, we continued 15 kilometers to Silyon Ancient City, a hilltop ruin with stunning views and free entry. Next, we visited the sprawling Fairgare ancient city. Entrance was normally €12, but it was free with our museum pass Turkey. A short drive brought us to Kurşunlu waterfall, surrounded by pine forests. The entrance cost just €2.20. Later in the day, we headed to Lara beach, one of Antalya's longest and most popular stretches of coastline. We then visited the lower Duden waterfalls, where powerful streams plunge straight into the Mediterranean, completely free to access. The upper Duden waterfalls, located further inland, had a small entry fee of around €0.75. As the day ended, we made our way to Antalya's historic Karlayıcı district and checked into a boutique hotel for €120 for 2 nights. The cobblestone streets and Ottoman architecture set the perfect tone for a relaxing evening in the heart of the city. On our 4th day, we explored the heart of Antalya, starting with the majestic Hadrian's Gate, a triumphal arch built by the Romans nearly 2,000 years ago. Just a few steps away, we visited the Yivli Minaret Mosque, an iconic fluted minaret that has become a symbol of the city. We continued to Republic Square, where panoramic views of the sea and the Taurus Mountains framed the perfect photo opportunity. Next, we walked down to Antalya Old Town Marina, once a major Roman port, now filled with yachts, cafes, and history. We took a short break at Mermeli Beach, a hidden cove tucked beneath the old city walls. Just above the beach, we climbed to Derlik Tower, believed to be a Roman lighthouse, offering fantastic views of the coastline. A quick stroll through Keçeli Park gave us a refreshing pause under the trees. We then visited the Antalya Ethnography Museum, located in a restored Ottoman mansion, and best of all, entry was completely free. Nearby, the Şehzade Korkut Mosque, one of the oldest in the city, revealed layers of Seljuk, Byzantine, and Ottoman architecture. In the afternoon, we toured the Antalya Museum, home to one of Turkey's richest archaeology collections, normally €19, but free with our museum pass Turkey. Later, we headed west to Antalya Beach Park, where locals relax under palm trees just steps from the sea. We spent a few hours at the Antalya Aquarium, one of the largest in the world. Entrance ranged from €40 to €57, depending on the package. Afterwards, we cooled off at Konyaaltı Beach, stretching for several kilometers along the turquoise coast. Before sunset, we let loose at Aksu Park, a local amusement park with classic rides and family fun. The evening ended back at our hotel in Antalya, where we reflected on a day rich in history, culture, and seaside relaxation. Every corner of the city had its own story, and we had only just begun to discover them. Day 5 began with a coastal drive out of Antalya, heading southwest toward Beldebi, about 25 kilometers away. We stopped briefly to enjoy the pine-covered mountains meeting the sea, then continued 10 kilometers to Goenuk, known for its lush canyon and forest trails. Next, we reached the lively town of Kemer, where we paused for coffee by the marina before continuing to the quieter village of Çamlıca. Just beyond Çamlıca, we visited the stunning Fezli's ancient city. Entry is normally €14, but it was included with our museum pass Turkey. The ruins, set between 3 picturesque bays, made this one of the most atmospheric ancient cities on our trip. From there, we headed inland to take the Tatili mountain cable car. A return ticket cost around €43, and we soared to 2,365 meters above sea level for a panoramic view of the entire coastline. After descending, we drove 25 kilometers to Çıralı Beach, a peaceful stretch where sea turtles nest and nature thrives. Just a few minutes away, we entered Olympos' ancient city, tucked into a wild, jungle-like setting. Entry was €13 but free with our museum pass. In the late afternoon, we reached the quiet village of Adrasan, about a 40-minute drive from Olympos. We took a relaxing walk along Adrasan Bay, where the mountains drop into the sea. That evening, we joined a boat tour to Suluada Island, often called the Turkish Maldives. The tour cost between €13 and €20. As the sun set, we hiked to the remote Gelidonia lighthouse, which offered one of the most breathtaking views of the Mediterranean, and it was completely free. We checked into a cozy guest house in Adrasan for the night, with accommodation costing €80. It was a perfect end to a day full of ancient history, dramatic landscapes, and coastal serenity. On day 6, we set off from Adrasan and made our first stop at Parpaz Key, a quiet and hidden coastal spot about 35 kilometers away. Just a short drive further brought us to Mavİkent Beach, where we took a peaceful morning swim in calm, clear waters. We then traveled inland to explore the ruins of Limera ancient city. Entrance is normally €2, but it was free with our museum pass Turkey. Afterward, we continued 15 kilometers to Finike, where we relaxed at Finike Beach and took a walk along the shore. In Finike town center, we took a mid-morning coffee break and soaked in the laid-back atmosphere. We wandered the peaceful Finike marina and admired the fishing boats bobbing in the harbor. Next, we stopped at Finike Marali Bay, a small secluded cove perfect for a swim or sunbathing. From there, we drove 30 kilometers to Demre, where we enjoyed a local lunch before continuing our exploration. In the afternoon, we visited the impressive Myra ancient city, normally €16 to enter, but free with our museum pass. Nearby, we explored the famous St. Nicholas Church, dedicated to the real-life Santa Claus, also free with the pass, saving us another €21. Later, we arrived at the small village of Uçaz and boarded a private boat tour to Kepez. The full tour for 3 people cost us around €90. We sailed over the Kepez sunken city, where ancient ruins lie just beneath the surface of the water. Our boat dropped us off in Kalkan, a car-free village accessible only by sea. We hiked up to Semena ancient city, perched above Kalkan. The entrance fee of €5 was also covered by our museum pass. We spent the night in Kalkan, staying in a charming stone house overlooking the bay for €100, surrounded by silence and starlight. On day 7, we started our morning with a peaceful boat ride back from Kalkan to Uçaz village, enjoying the calm sea and scenic coastline. Once ashore, we stopped for a coffee break in the quiet village center, soaking in the local atmosphere. From Uçaz, we drove about 40 kilometers, roughly 45 minutes, to the beautiful coastal town of Kaş. Our first stop was Kaş Old Town, where narrow cobbled streets wind through whitewashed houses and colorful bougainvillea. We admired the beautifully preserved traditional Ottoman houses, each one telling a story of the town's rich heritage. For lunch, we sat by the sea at Kaş Harbor, enjoying fresh seafood with a view of the marina and the nearby Greek island. After lunch, we visited the King's Tomb, a Lycian sarcophagus standing right in the heart of the Old Town. We cooled off with a quick swim at Küçük Çakıl Beach, a small pebbled cove tucked between rocky cliffs. Later, we explored the Lisha rock tombs carved into the hillside above the town, a testament to Kaş's ancient past. A walk around Kaş Marina offered a relaxing moment before heading to our next historical stop. We sat at the Antifellows Theatre, carved into stone and facing the sea, and best of all, it was completely free to visit. In the late afternoon, we swam at Küçük Çakıl Beach, known for its crystal-clear waters and peaceful setting. We finished the day with a visit to Çınar Beach, also known as Insaboğaz, a quiet spot ideal for watching the sunset. As night fell, we checked into our hotel in Kaş for a 3-night stay, costing €270 in total. It was a perfect end to a day filled with history, nature, and the laid-back charm of one of Antalya's most beloved towns. On day 8, we left Kaş in the morning and drove just 20 minutes along the coast to reach the famous Kaputaş Beach, free to enter, and one of the most photogenic spots in all of Antalya. After a refreshing swim in its turquoise waters, we continued 10 kilometers to Kalkan town, a peaceful village built into the hillside. We wandered through the old streets, admiring beautifully preserved traditional Ottoman houses with wooden balconies and stone walls. Before leaving, we stopped for a bit of souvenir shopping. Handmade ceramics, spices, and olive oil soaps were among our favorites. We sat down for a delicious lunch in the town center, enjoying fresh meze and grilled sea bass overlooking the bay. After lunch, we strolled through the elegant Kalkan marina, lined with yachts and boutique cafes. Then we visited Kalkan Hawk Plage, a small public beach perfect for another quick dip in the sea. In the afternoon, we drove 30 minutes to explore the ancient Patara ruins. Entry would normally cost €19, but it was included with our museum pass Turkey. We walked among Roman roads, temples, and the monumental archway, surrounded by sand dunes. Just a few minutes away, we stretched out on Patara Beach, one of the longest and most natural beaches in all of Turkey. Later, we drove to the nearby ancient city of Xanthos, another UNESCO site, also free with the museum pass. Regular price is about €4. Xanthos impressed us with its Lycian sarcophagi and mosaic-covered ruins. From there, we continued to Saklıkent National Park, about a 40-minute drive inland. We trekked through the cool, narrow gorge, bathed under a small waterfall, and joined an exhilarating rafting tour through the mountain river. The return trip to Kaş took us around 50 minutes, winding back through scenic mountain roads. That evening, we returned to our hotel in Kaş for a well-earned rest after a full day of nature, culture, and adventure. On day 9, we took a day trip across the border to the tiny Greek island of Kastellorizo, just 30 minutes from Kaş by ferry. We departed early in the morning, with round-trip tickets costing €35 per person. Arriving at Kastellorizo harbour felt like stepping into a postcard, pastel-coloured houses, bobbing fishing boats, and a calm, sunlit bay. Our first adventure on the island was a boat tour to the famous Blue Cave, known locally as Fokiali, a magical, glowing grotto that cost €15 and was worth every cent. Afterward, we relaxed for a while at Navlakas Bay, a quiet and untouched corner of the island perfect for swimming. We followed the old French road, a narrow coastal path once used by Allied troops, leading us to breathtaking views. At the cliff of Kir Nikitas, we paused to take in the dramatic drop and sweeping seascapes. We continued to St. George's Island, a tiny spot offshore with a beach and chapel, reached by a quick water taxi. There, we visited St. George at Piggotty Orthodox Church, a peaceful, whitewashed sanctuary. Back in town, we found the house featured in the Oscar-winning film Mediterraneo, still standing with its rustic charm. Near the center, we entered a small stone chapel tucked between the colorful homes. Then we visited two beautiful churches, St. George of Santrape and the nearby St. Spiridon. We also stepped into the Holy Metropolitan Church of Saints Constantine and Helen, with its striking blue dome and intricate interior. A short uphill walk took us to the Castle of the Knights, where we enjoyed panoramic views across the harbour and over to Kaş. Just beside it, we saw the remains of an Ottoman hammam, showing the layered history of this small island. Near the castle, we discovered an ancient Lycian tomb, a reminder of the region's shared cultural roots. Next, we wandered along Mandrake Bay, a quieter section of the island lined with fishing boats. We stopped at the Church of St. Nicholas and St. Demetrius, nestled along the water. The small but fascinating archaeological museum of Kastellorizo welcomed us for just €3, housing relics from both Greek and Lycian civilizations. At the island's highest point, we reached a viewpoint offering a stunning panorama of the surrounding islands and the Turkish coast. From Faroes Point, we could clearly see Kaş across the sea, a reminder of how close, yet culturally distinct, these two places are. Before heading back, we visited the Kastellorizo Folk Art Museum, located inside the historic Kavos Mosque, showcasing traditional life on the island. We returned by ferry to Kaş just before sunset and spent the evening reflecting on a day filled with beauty, history, and cross-cultural connection. On our final day, we left Kaş and began the drive back to Antalya, covering around 200 kilometers in just under 3.5 hours. Our first stop was Arakanda Ancient City, nestled in the mountains. Entry was completely free, and the setting was incredibly peaceful. We continued to the highland town of Korkuteli for a quick coffee break and to stretch our legs. Next, we visited Kararin Cave, one of the oldest known human settlements in Turkey. The entrance fee was normally €6.50, but it was free with our museum pass Turkey. From there, we drove 30 minutes to reach Guluk Mountain National Park. Inside the park, we explored the dramatic ruins of Temesos's ancient city. Entrance would have cost €4, but again, our museum pass covered it. Surrounded by cliffs and forest, Temesos offered a fitting end to our archaeological journey through Antalya. By afternoon, we arrived at Antalya Airport, ready to board our flight back to Cyprus, filled with memories from an epic 10-day adventure. That wraps up our 10-day journey through Antalya. I hope this guide helps you plan the perfect trip. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and share it, and don't forget to subscribe for more travel adventures. Need more info or have questions about your itinerary? Just leave a comment below. I'm here to help.